Okay.
If you're okay with that.
I am. Like, look, you said bring covers, and
Oh, yeah.
I kind of was upstairs like, should I get this? Should I get this? Is this too much?
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Yeah, I was worried about my background, what kind of books to put up, which lines, all of that. So there's definitely many things to consider.
I wanted to be with my books, and my 6-year-old was like, "Can I watch TV in here?" And I was like, "Sure." I was like, "You promised to be quiet?" And he's like, "Yes." And I was like, "Okay." I'll just go downstairs.
Mm-hmm. So what do you have? What kind of covers do you have for us?
Okay, are you ready? It's a little stack. Okay.
Oh yeah. No.
Okay,
let's do it.
The first one I have is it's Adam and Eva by Sandra Kitt.
Oh.
So this is she was the first Black author to write for Harlequin.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And like most of what I've found, like she was writing white characters. So like it was nice to see this one. Where'd she go? There she is.
I'm trying to.
Sorry, dinner just showed up 5 minutes ago. And I was just quickly eating nachos.
All the controls. Oh, there we go. That's a better view there.
Sarah, what's your guys' delivery thing called?
Skip the dishes.
Skip the dishes. I love
it. Perfect. Well, welcome, Sarah.
Thank you.
I'm glad you could make it. I was a little worried there. I was like watching the 30-second countdown. And I was like, oh no, did I screw up the time zone?
No, that was us. That was me.
You should have seen us this weekend. We were a mess. Like, we haven't recorded in 3 weeks. So we totally forgot the time. The time was wrong. And then when we got the time right, I was late for that. I was like, Sarah's like, you coming? I was like, oh shit. Yeah. I'm on my way
right now. Very nice. Well, Sarah, Bree just shared a cover with us. Do you have a cover you want to?
Oh, I may have a little stack here.
Yes.
Oh, please share the stacks with us.
Hi, Alicia. Alicia's here. Oh, what is that?
Is it Barbara Delinsky? An old Barbara Delinsky Temptation.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a
1980s all over that cover.
Those Temptation illustrated covers are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the Temptations I have are red. So is that one the older one?
Number 4.
Sarah.
Wow. I have number 1. I couldn't find it in time. I couldn't get it in time. I do have number 1.
Okay, so those are the older ones, and then they started making them red?
Correct. Yeah. Okay. This is from 1984, March 1984. I was 4. I was 5 when this came out.
Oh my gosh.
I would have just been turning 1 the next month. Yeah.
I wasn't born until 86.
Well, my first one, this one, Danny Collins sent me her latest one, a One Snowbound New Year's Night, which snowed in is apparently a theme for this round of presents.
Yeah.
Because my next one was from Callie Anthony. That was a snowbound one too. And I
think I got that one.
This dress is
gorgeous.
Makes the waves on social media anytime it covers it's posted.
I want to do a reenactment of a Presents cover.
Right?
Just saying, my 40th birthday is going to be a photo shoot of me doing Presents
covers. Yeah.
You know those at theme parks, they've got those Old West sets where you can put on the cowboy outfit and stuff.
Yeah.
At a romance convention, you should put together a booth where you can recreate whatever romance cover.
Or back in the day they had those oh my god, those glamour shots.
Yes.
That whole thing, right?
Oh, Steve said you're all so old.
Oh, listen, we're not all 28.
But But it's like when we chatted with Janice Sola James, and we were like, wouldn't it be fun if romance authors today all did like those 80s romance author like glamour shots, like the Jackie
like the Nora
Collins.
Roberts on the back.
Yeah. I want that in a calendar. Just saying, I want that in a calendar.
Yes.
But you know what? The other day I saw a woman with a perm, like just rocking the big hair, and I was like, you know what? Good
Bring
for you.
it back.
Yeah.
You go.
All right. Any more covers?
Oh, I got
it. Give us the stack.
You want to go ahead, Bree.
We'll go alternate. Okay, so I bought a Shadows. It's Whispers in the Wind.
Oh.
So anybody that is interested in like horror romance, look for that line. What you got, Sarah? What's yours?
An old Heather Graham.
I knew you were going to bring a Heather Graham.
I've read this one. This is A Matter of Convenience. So this is a 1980s as well. It reminded me a lot of that old movie with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, Overboard.
Overboard, yeah.
It is fabulous. Mistaken identity. No one knows who anyone else is. It was great. It was absolutely great.
Oh, love it.
Okay, I bought another old school.
Okay.
Harlequin Gothic, you guys.
Yes, girl, yes.
Island of Mystery by Margaret M. Scariano. I think it only had is it 18 books, I think? Mm-hmm. It didn't run very long, but if you see them in the thrift store, pick them up. Do you have another one?
My first. My very, very first Harlequin that the cover's not exceptional, but it's my first, so it means something to me.
That's
right.
I remember that from a video you did a while ago. Yep. You showed that one.
Yeah. I love
Nancy
those.
Ward and Jacqueline Diamond. That's a fun one.
I almost bought a duet. I'm so happy that this worked out the way that it did.
I know, right?
You know, your girl had to represent.
Yes.
For the dare. Zara Cox also writes for Presents under the name Maya Blake. So it's always nice to see, the different pen names.
Yes. Yes. Holiday? Ooh, another long forgotten line, the everlasting line that only ran for so many books. A Spirit of Christmas by Margot Earley. This is a retelling of Christmas Carol.
So Everlasting Love was its own line. I thought maybe it was just some different country naming of just the romance line.
If you look at before they brought it out, the special edition, the super romance line had some books that had everlasting, along a banner. Mm-hmm. So they were kind of introducing the series. Did people like it? Because these are all stories about really second chance, a couple that's been married before. They're older characters. That's what these ones were.
The Jerry Croteau one was a great granddaughter reading her grandmother's journal from the war or whatever. It was really good.
TTQ's was a retelling of her own parents' romance.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
More like women's fiction-y.
Agreed. Yeah.
Okay, so my last couple, I'm going to go fast, okay? Because I have 5
Take
still.
All the time
okay, so do I. I have 5 still too. We're good, Bree.
2 special editions coming out.
Oh, nice. Oh, and those are new ones.
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
So the Shoe Diaries and the 5-Day Reunion. We're so excited for both of them.
Yes, we are.
Slightly older, super romance. His Ballerina Bride by Terry Wilson.
I think I bought the second book in that series on the Glow app.
You can't see it because it's my light's blowing it out. But Steve, she's got a little cat on her lap.
What's the name of that series, Sarah? What's the name of that series?
This is the Drake Diamond series.
Okay, I don't know where my phone. I bought the second book, I think, in that series. I love Terry Wilson. I love her.
I need to pick up a few of hers.
Yes, she's so good. Okay, y'all know I love romance.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Rachel Stewart's Beauty and the Reclusive Billionaire, and then romance kills it during the holiday season. Just saying, romance and medical are my favorite holiday covers for the past couple of years.
Hands down, my favorite romance cover. I don't know what it is about this cover, but Road Trip with the Best Man, this book was amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. Okay, my last one, I promise.
Right.
I had to do a Nocturne.
I still got a couple more.
Yeah.
A Nocturne.
I'm hoping to read this one for the Pop Culture Readathon this month. This is my shifter pick.
There you go. You go. All right, couple more. I had to bring out A Love Inspired, Safe in the Fireman's Arms. I love these covers, back, these covers that they used to do, their Christmas ones at this time were just, there's some of them that I would literally have on my wall as paintings. They're beautiful. One of probably my favorite Harlequin book of all time, and I've said this before, Diary of a War Bride by Laurie Robinson. This book is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And last but not least, a best-selling author collection. I don't know what it is about this cover that appeals to me, but there's just something about it that just really speaks to me.
Yeah. I wonder what it could be, Sarah.
I have no idea, but his pants don't fit because they're falling off.
Or is that the idea? Oh, awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing those covers. Everything.
Steve said, eat.
I thought of when I'm like, there's a Steve cover right there.
But Bree, I can't go to a thrift store without buying books, but they had a couple pinks, so I finally have.
I'm so
happy. Some romance to this one's, let's see, Jessica Gilmore. I haven't heard of any of these authors before, and this one's by Rebecca Winters.
Rebecca Winters is great.
Oh, okay, good.
Romance is one of those series that have just had so many like cover changes. It's always so interesting to see.
Well, because it's the longest one. That's why, right?
Yeah, because I've got some older ones that they were running more of like a small town theme kind of I think for romance at that time, and now it's kind of parallels Desire a little more, it seems like. Is that a safe assessment?
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and slide into the whole interview process if you two are okay with that.
We're ready.
I stole a whole bunch of your guys' questions because you're always asking these questions, so I thought it's about time that we just throw them back at you.
I love it.
All right, so I'll go ahead and start with you, Bree. If you had a warning label, what would it say?
What would it say? I thought about this a lot today. Okay.
Or maybe I should have asked Sarah what your warning label would be.
Okay. So I think it would be, will randomly break out in song and or dance at any moment in time. Is a lightweight drinker, can only one glass of wine is enough, and laughs really loudly. I don't know.
You know what? That's perfect. Yeah.
Warning label.
Best one-liners ever. Sarah.
Yeah. And unapologetically Canadian.
Yes.
There we go.
Her sorries, the amount of time she says sorry, like, how do you say it, Sarah? Say it.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's a thing.
We will bump into someone else. And the other, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Over apologizing. Yes, we love it.
And I just love her like A's that get snuck into conversation. Like when I'm listening to an episode, I'm like, oh, there's her Canadian A coming out.
I was listening to the Jenny Holiday series, the Matchmaker Bay series, I think it is. And it takes place in Ontario, like just outside of where I live. So I was listening to it on audio and I'm like, we don't actually sound that way, do we? And I've had people go, yeah, you do.
Yes, Steve. What is the
warning label?
Oh.
Got her.
I'm very polite until I get behind the wheel of a car, right, Steve?
Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, same. That's the one place I can really lose it.
Yep.
All right. What's one hill you will unashamedly die on?
You, Sarah.
Oh, God, I got to think about that one. Now I know how all of our authors feel.
Well, I mean, I think for us, we say this all the time. We believe that romance matters, but even amongst romance readers, category is still like the stepchild. And
that's right.
We think it fucking matters. Sorry,
absolutely.
Can we cuss on this? Can we cuss?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She asks after she does.
Right. Yeah.
We think it matters, so that's
no. I'm going to agree on that 100%. Yeah. I was thinking about that the other day, and just the
still kind of the disrespect that romance tends to get. I think it was like Tessa Dare that was just kind of lamenting on Twitter the other day about, telling people that she's an author, but then there's the follow-up question of what do you write? And this is Tessa Dare, she's like, legendary, and people will still scoff when she says romance, it's like, oh, no, okay.
Yeah.
It's really disappointing. And, like you said, category kind of gets put even one step below that.
Even within the romance community.
Right.
It's very much looked down upon.
And I think that's why what we do, what you're doing is so important, because not only are we talking about the books, but we do like to ask like writer questions. You may get a book, one of these takes like 2 hours to read, right? If you sat, but the amount of time and work that goes into it, the authors, the editors, the back and forth, it's a lot. I mean, it may have taken a year and a half to write, not to mention when they have life stuff going on. So it's not easy.
No.
Well, I was reading Rachel Stewart's. Hey, Steph.
Steph is here.
Yay.
So as you know, I read Rachel Stewart's Our Little Secret recently, and as I was reading that, just the prose and her sentences and word choice are just beautiful. I mean, it just flows so well. And I just would have to stop and be like, oh my gosh, this is written so well. Like you're so in tune with these people's feelings and everything that's going on with them. And, it's just, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
People
I've been talking Harlequin on YouTube for 6 years because I just hit my 6-year booktube anniversary. And I would recommend, and I remember recommending these books, and somebody's like, yeah, but it's category. And I thought, but if you rip the cover off, you wouldn't know. Like the amount of books that people are reading. Like I know Nicole from Who Picked This Book, huge fan of Sandra Brown. She's read her entire backlist. I bet you she's read everything she's written category because it's been republished. Nora Roberts, Maycomber, Susan Mallory. People don't know you're reading category, and you've probably read category.
Yeah.
Romance author I know.
Classic Steve.
That is a good line.
Well, I mean, what took me by surprise, like when we spoke with, because Sarah and I always joke about wanting to go to the UK to go to Waterstones, because we thought we'd get all the pretty UK covers and Waterstones, and Heidi Rice was like, they don't sell us in Waterstones. They're kind of up themselves. And we were like, fuck Waterstones.
Exactly.
We're going to just go to the grocery store if they let us in the country.
When they let us in, right?
Yeah.
Agreed, Steph, 100%.
All right, so excellent tangent. That's what we're all about here. I'll rein it back in as the host here.
You know what you're getting with us. You know what you're getting.
So, what is one of the best purchases you've made in this or the last year, or we can go year to date?
I've been making purchases that haven't been coming in yet. I ordered a cute tote bag from Ontario, Mississauga. Do you know where that is, Sarah? It's like
Mississauga. Mississauga. Yeah, it's about 2 hours that way.
I ordered a bag. I didn't realize it was coming from there, but that's the best purchase because I'm so excited about it, but it hasn't shown up yet.
Mississauga. Oh my God, I got to share that with everybody I know.
Oh my gosh, Anna's here. Hi, Anna.
Oh, we love Anna. We love her. What about you, Sarah? Oh, Sarah's been thrifting a lot. You were thrifting some books.
But for best purchase, though, the Kindle Paperwhite.
Yes.
Really?
Oh my God. It's incredible. Yeah.
Now, do you know if you can somehow get Gloss onto a Kindle somehow? Is there
I wish.
Yeah, I know. Oh,
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish if I could go to Harlequin and be like, dude, this is what I want you to do. Make the books be able to be downloaded, because you used to be able to do that. and then you could side load them onto your Kindle.
Oh, okay.
And I wish they would go back to that. Like they were Adobe or whatever, like EPUBs.
Yeah, right.
Yep. I would happily download to my heart's content.
It's just, it's fine. I can read on my phone, but, sometimes I want my bigger Kindle screen.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And see, I read on it on my iPad, and I'm like, sometimes I don't want to read on this big old thing, but it's perfect for the gym, propping it up on the treadmill. And what I love about Glows is that I don't have to stay in the app. If you do text to speech on Kindle, at least for me, you have to be there.
Yes.
With Glows, I can go play my word search game, and the book is just reading. It's perfect.
What are you actually doing at the gym, Bree?
I'm walking on the treadmill, doing my word search, listening to a desire novel.
Excellent.
Sorry, Aaron. Sorry, another Terry. Okay, we're sorry.
No,
you met us, right?
Fine. Yes. Yeah. And I keep coming back on your show, and I invited you on here, so I'm obviously okay with it. Let's see. Harissa here started reading Category because of you guys. So, and Special Edition is
I
the
agree.
favorite line so far.
I love
Sarah says
edition.
we aim to enable. So thank you.
That's our tagline.
Love that. Keep us posted. Try everything.
Agreed. I mean, I do like the fire, but the fire is just too heavy. If I'm laying in bed at night, I don't want that thing dropping on my head.
Yeah. This is my favorite Paperwhite. This is my favorite e-reader so far.
I agree, Steve. That's how he made it to the ripe old age of 28.
That's right. Wait for our chat with Steve that comes out on Wednesday.
Oh, yes. You want epic? You're going to get epic.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, I have exercise equipment at home that I ignore already, so I don't even need to.
I don't need to pay to ignore equipment elsewhere. Yeah.
All right. What is one of your guiltless pleasures?
Oh, man. Buying. Okay. Sarah's a sales girl, so she waits for the Harlequin sale. Like I've told her.
Oh, yeah.
With me, if I have the money, I have to buy them now because a week later, I may not have it. So first of the month, Harlequin, new books, my guiltless pet pleasure. I'm just buying them up. I don't wait for the sale. That's my one splurge on myself each month.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's really just because the difference is, Bree, is that you make one purchase in the month. I make one every Friday. So that's my, my husband and I each have an allowance, if you will. This is how I choose to spend mine.
Yeah.
That's why I have 800 books on the Glows app.
Sometimes I do wait, to get some extras at the end of the month because they always save the good sale for the end of the month.
Yep.
So I'll get all others.
Got to try and have that impulse control until that last week.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We don't. When it comes to books, we don't have that.
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting for my order that I placed this month, but who knows? It'll show up probably at the end of the month.
I'm still waiting for my first rewards points book. I think it might have got lost in the mail.
They do take a little bit longer to
do they?
Yeah, they do. You will I will place an order on a Friday, and the next Friday it will ship. But I want it now.
And then usually I'll get that email, and then it's like the next day it shows up on my front door. I'm pretty sure someone who works at Harlequin lives in my neighborhood and is just like, dude, I'll drop this off.
And it's too bad because I want to order through Harlequin's site themselves as much as I can, but sometimes I want that book, and I know Amazon's going to get it to me quicker.
It's true. It's true.
All right. It's now to a fun one. You're 15 again, and your parents come and toss your room. What's the worst book that they're going to find?
Oh, I might actually still have it.
I remember. Was I 15? I don't know. I don't think I was much of a reader as a teenager. I think that's when I took one of my hiatuses of reading. But I do remember being a teenager, and that's when I feel like urban fiction was really popular when I was a teenager. We had a bookstore in the mall dedicated to it. Wow. And I don't want to say that it was bad because like I read it, I was reading those books and loving them, and then my mom would read them, and then my sister would read them. So I don't think she would have been pissed that I was reading it. Like I would write my name and she'd write her name and pass it on. So yeah, I don't think she would have been. I don't think I've ever really read bad stuff. You know, like there was sex and stuff in there, but I'm a teenager. I know what's going on. So yeah, I think
for me it was more, you know, the questioning of like, you really want to spend your time, because it was V.C. Andrews. That was huge when I was in high school, and I started rereading Ruby, the one that got me started with V.C. Andrews, and I got about 2 hours into the audio, and I'm like, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. Not at 43. I did it at 15. I can't do it at 43.
You weren't liking it?
No, the incest was too much for me. I couldn't.
Okay.
I couldn't deal.
Okay. Steph said Zane. Oh my God, I remember my aunt was reading Zane, and it was so weird. Why are you reading this erotica stuff?
Oh, I've seen those in the used bookstore for that author. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so they're pretty steamy.
They are steamy. It's so weird when your aunt's reading them.
Yeah. Okay, you want that story? When 50 Shades came out and I read it, I was mentioning it to my aunt in her kitchen, and my grandmother was like, "Yeah, I read that." And I looked at Grandma, and Grandma looked at me, and you could see both of us going, "Is there anything we need to explain to each other?"
You were both thinking that about each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I remember, like, because at the time when it came out, I had a female squadron commander, and she's like 4'11", and she's just walking through. Have you read that 50 Shades of Grey yet? And I'm like, no, ma'am. Why aren't we talking about this? The movie's coming out. I can't wait to see it. Yes, ma'am, Major. Like, we're not talking about this.
Morally great. Yes, agreed.
The incest was too much. I told you guys, Sarah has the best one-liners ever.
It's your brother. You know it's your brother, but you're still questioning it. I'm like, how is this a
thing? But you know, those just when you're going that dark, I mean, that's the fun of it, right? It's like you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. Oh my gosh, they're gonna.
But I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right, great stuff. So now the best one. Who was your childhood celebrity crush?
Oh my gosh.
Go, Sarah. Who was it?
Oh, I'm trying to pick just one.
I know. I know. I had two. You want to do one?
AJ from the Backstreet Boys, and I still love AJ from the Backstreet Boys.
He was a hug. What do you always say? I wouldn't kick him out of the bed for eating
crackers.
Okay. So going on that line, one of mine was Justin Timberlake because I was an NSYNC fan.
There you go. I like JC from NSYNC.
Well, I'm with you on AJ. He was the finest out of Backstreet Boys.
I know.
But my other one, you guys, I don't know what movie it was. I was obsessed with George Clooney. What the fuck?
Was it A.R.R? Was it the show?
I don't know. Maybe I can't remember. Maybe my mom was watching A.R.R. I don't know. I just remember seeing him and being like, he is so gorgeous. I still think he's gorgeous. So those were my two.
And David Duchovny from the X-Files when you mentioned TV. David Duchovny from the X-Files.
Oh,
okay.
I always love Mulder.
Yeah, I have a special place in my heart for Scully. Yeah.
There you go.
That time. Yeah. Oh, Steph mentioned the Coreys. If that's who I'm thinking it is, I tried to get my kids to watch The Lost Boys during the Halloween season. They were not interested. They're like, Dad, this is old. This is old. Ow. Okay.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I still think he's a fine specimen of a man.
Very well, like fine wine.
Yes. Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really, Steph? Okay. Donnie?
You're gonna have to fight my sister-in-law, Steph.
He's like, when we were asking that on the podcast, wasn't he like, he's like one of our most used answers on the podcast when we asked that. Yeah.
No, you're thinking Donny Osmond. She's
Donny Osmond. Okay, in our earlier episodes, I think Naima Simone, I feel like he was hers.
Right. You could be right. Yep.
We had a couple of new kids on the block because I was like, really? Were they that hot? They were.
I mean, I remember that my sister, and she wasn't that much older than me, just like a year and a half, but had some of the action figures or dolls or something from New Kids on the Block.
Guilty.
But yeah, I remember they were huge. They were just on top of the world.
That was my first concert ever was NKO TV.
Oh my gosh. I just want to break out in song. New Kids on the Block had a bunch of hits.
Now that song's going to be in my head all night.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Oh, love it. All right. So you two always ask authors what their romance origin story is. Now it's time to tell us yours.
Bree, go for it.
I think like a lot of answers, I've always loved the love story. But growing up in the 90s, I was a Goosebumps kid. So I loved horror growing up. And then in 8th grade, we read Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And that's when I was like, oh, I really like this love story, but it's also kind of dark. Mm-hmm. But then fast forward to being an adult, moving to Texas. I didn't know anybody. That's when I found BookTube. And it was like 2 years into finding BookTube that I realized people on there talked about romance. And I would go to Barnes and Noble and stand there like an idiot looking for these books that I was seeing people talking about, not knowing they were indie published and I wasn't going to find them. So that's really what got the wheels turning. And then when I finally took the plunge, I was on the couch watching a Hallmark movie. And I think it said adapted from the novel by so-and-so. And I was like, huh, like I watch these all the time and I've never actually read a book. So I had just downloaded Overdrive, just gotten a library card. And I was like, let's just look up this, like, who writes the best Christmas romances? Because it was holiday season. Debbie Maycomber on all the lists.
Obviously.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to look up this Debbie Maycomber they talk about. And I was like, well, she must be a pretty big deal because everything's checked out. So I pre-ordered the book that was coming out, which at the time was Merry and Bright. And I managed to check out one book. And I read it and the rest was history. I don't know. That was it. Nice. That's how it started for me.
So you came into romance later in life, like myself too. Yeah. So yeah, that's I like hearing those ones because they're a little bit different. But I'm not going to take away. Go ahead, Sarah.
No, that's okay. Yeah. No, I was much younger. Not much younger, but I was younger. Like I said, I was reading V.C. Andrews. I was reading Anne Rice in high school, and my best friend, her favorite book of all time was Gone with the Wind. And she's like, you got to read Gone with the Wind. I'm like, it's a doorstop. I don't have that kind of time. So yet I was reading Anne Rice, which really wasn't that much of a difference.
No!
Yeah.
So, but I was thinking in my head, I'm like, and she kept going, it was a romance. It was so, I'm like, I don't want a romance. Who wants romance? So I finally read it. And I'm like, this isn't a romance. Like, this didn't feel like, there's no happily ever after in Gone with the Wind. It is not a romance. Mm-hmm. But it is an amazing story. And it's in my top 5 of all time now that I've actually read it. But anyway, I remember saying that to my aunt, and my aunt's like, oh, well, let me show you some books. And out came the Harlequins. And I was like, no, those are, no, I'm sorry. No, that's just old lady stuff. Because her and my grandmother read them, right? Mm-hmm. So I think I had, at that point, then I had found, I had started working, and I found, as Bree knows, I refer to them as my Holy Trinity, Susan Wiggs, Susan Mallory, Cheryl Woods. And I started finding their series and reading them. And then it was a couple years after that I picked up that Harlequin duets. And I went, okay, these are, I needed some time to think about it and chill on them and realize that, because my aunt and grandmother always read the Presents novels. And those are the ones that I always think of as the old school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what they read. But, now I love them because they're fantastic.
They are. There's something about Presents. I just love them.
It's that fairy tale, man. It's that fairy tale.
It is. Mm-hmm.
All right. So you both at one time or currently ran a booktube channel. Now, what was your booktube origin story? What made you take that leap from being a watcher to deciding to jump in the fray?
Well, I found it because of Twitter. There's the singer A.R.R. I love her, and she tweeted like, "Here's my YouTube channel link." And guys, at the time, I really did not know much about YouTube. Which was I living under a rock? I don't know. I was what? And it said like books, something. It had books in the title, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
A.R.R. So I clicked on it, and of course, you click on it, and it gives you the BookTube welcome package, the Sashas, the Jessies, the Emmas, and I'm like, people talk about books on YouTube. I had no idea. Like, I knew like my troops would talk about it, but they were talking about like music videos and stuff. So I'm like, what? That's how I found it, and it's so addicting. I watched it faithfully like every day for like 2 years, and you just get that urge like, I can do this. I didn't have a fancy camera. I record my first channel that I had. I mean, I used to record on my laptop, and it just, I was like, you want to do it yourself. So that's kind of how it happened for me.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a veteran with YouTube itself. I've been doing YouTube for over 10 years, I think, at this point. Because prior to BookTube, I was doing a knitting podcast. And then I got really burnt out with that because the community itself just became, I felt, very toxic in terms of buying stuff and blah, blah. Anyway, the commercialism got to be too much for me.
Yeah.
So I started to look up, and I'm like, my husband's like, oh, they talk about everything on YouTube. And I'm like, well, they don't talk about books. So I'm like, oh, they do talk about books. Suddenly I'm like, excellent.
Yeah.
So I literally probably watched like 3 or 4 videos, and I'm like you said, Bree, the BookTube starter pack, all these, YA people. And I'm like, but nobody's talking about anything that I'm reading. I'm like, so I guess I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
And we are so glad you're here.
Yes. Yeah, I loved those old school days of BookTube, man. Like, I loved
a heyday there for a while.
I mean, some of it was, you look back on it and it's like we had a tag for everything, like fall time, December time, winter time. Like, we had a tag for everything.
And
it had its problems still. I mean, it had its problems, but it was so chill once upon a time. So you did your TBR, you did your wrap up, you did some stuff in between, and like that was it. Now, I mean, I have so much respect for you guys because you have to be creative out the ass, and I am not a creative person like that. So, but
and I gave up on doing wrap ups and TBRs because I just I don't know. I get to the end of the month and be like, do I really want to talk about everything I read? I read 30 things. No, I'm not going to record that.
You vlog, and that's like, I've told Sarah this plenty of times. Like, I really loved vlogging. And if you're vlogging and talking about the books, what's the point in talking about them at the end of the month?
Exactly.
I've already talked to you about them. So
exactly.
It's like, the coming up with content just became really hard.
Yeah.
And for me, I mean, I've fallen into this thing, and my viewers seem to like it, and it doesn't mean I'm not going to grow, probably, but I'm fine with that because I'm really happy where I am. And I'm like, I like doing my TBRs. I like doing like my stats at the end of the month. I like doing like haul videos. That's my niche. That's what I do. That's what people come to me for.
Yeah.
They're not looking for the extra special stuff.
Yeah.
You can find that elsewhere.
Yeah.
All right. And so what do you think is easier, podcasting or running a YouTube channel? Or are they challenging in different ways?
I think they're challenging.
For timing, I think BookTube is easier because I can pick. Okay, I want to record at 9:00 at night. I can record at 9:00 at night. When you're podcasting, if you're with somebody else or an author or something, you need to work around other people's schedules.
Yeah.
So from that aspect, I would say BookTube is easier.
And we forget time zones.
No, we don't forget time zones. We forget to look at the calendars. We forget to do.
Remember the one where we were like so afraid we were going to screw up the time that we literally like showed up every hour?
Yeah.
Is she here? No. Okay. We're not late.
That's great. That's something I would do.
Yeah. But I mean, to be honest, Bree is the rock star of the podcast. Like, she's the girl who puts the questions together. So, like that's her jam, and she rocks it. If I had to do that all on my own, I don't know if I could, to be honest.
Yeah. I think that they both are like equally, they have their own challenges, I mean, we're not on video, so we can literally just be in like a t-shirt and leggings. It's fine. And but we don't have to do like secret we don't have to be like crazy creative. We just I think the creativeness just comes in as
the
a fan
for itself.
Yeah, as a fan of these people. If say we never get a chance to talk with Anna J. Stewart again, what do we want to make sure we ask her this time? That's the challenging but fun part of it.
Oh, awesome. And you guys do such a great job. You put out at least 2 podcasts a week, and I mean, I've had to work with you guys on scheduling stuff before, and it's just crazy. You're like, well, we're recording, in the morning, and then
16 other people on this day,
and then we're doing one in the evening too.
You know what? I think I'm not going to speak for Bree. I'll speak for myself, but I really, truly think that we got. Yeah, that was so. Yesterday, quick story. So yesterday we're recording with Steve. We're all on video. My husband came into the room to feed the cat, right? He's like, but he's wearing pants. Do we all have to be wearing pants while we're doing this?
And we're like, no,
because he's not on the podcast.
Just Garrett. Yeah, just Garrett,
that is something, being on video, that I've noticed I kind of can get cheat at, or something I'm not as judged as much about, is I sometimes am such a frump on my videos. I'm literally rolled just right out of bed and hit record and started talking. There's some, talent out on BookTube that, their whole video is putting their makeup on and getting ready and everything.
Yeah.
They put a lot into it, and a lot that you don't always see sometimes. So.
But no, I mean, I think that I got super, super lucky when Bree wanted to do this. I think we work really well together, because I have listened to podcasts before where the 2 people, you can tell. Do you know what I mean? For us, it's easy. Yeah. It just, and like we've told people, we've never even met in real life. Can you imagine what's going to happen when we finally get to meet in real life?
We're going to go to jail.
Right? Bring bail money.
We'll read about it on the news.
You're our phone caller.
All right.
It is allowed, Steve. What do you want to ask? Gosh, I'm scared.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, anyone in the comments, feel free to ask all the questions you have. Well, let's keep it. Let's keep it R-rated at least, I guess. Well, while we wait for Steve's question to come up, let's talk about the beginning of the Categorically Romance Podcast. So I'm picturing you guys are just in your houses on lockdown in 2020.
Yeah.
And you're just on Voxer, and one of you is like, hey, what do you think about starting a podcast? And then all of a sudden you're just getting hundreds of plays on Apple Podcasts. So
it started with a book, Bree?
It started with a book.
book.
Okay, so I know Sarah's a very structured reader. She's loosening up a little. She likes the wiggle room but at the time, I think we had both got arcs of an intrigue novel, Pursuit of the Truth by Katie Richards.
Yep.
And I'm reading it, and I remember I messaged her and Steph, and because I knew they both had it, and I was like, this is really good. You should read it. And so Sarah, being the rebel that she is like, well, I'll start it now. So she started it like minutes later. We both read it. It was her first 5-star of the year.
Yeah.
So a couple of days go by, and I message her. It's 5 a.m. my time, 6 a.m. her time. I still remember. I'm like, what were we doing? And so I message her, and I'm like, do you think Harlequin would ever start a podcast? Because she does videos for what used to be Read Bliss. So I'm like, she probably is in the know. And she's like, I don't think so. She's like, but I've been thinking of starting one. And I was like, I really feel like we have to talk about this book. We have to make sure people don't skimp over on this book.
Mm-hmm.
And so we reached out to Stephanie from the Harlequin publicity team, and we're like, hey, we have this idea. If y'all are already in the works of doing it, we won't do it. And she's like, go for it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And the rest is history.
The only thing that we couldn't do, the only stipulation we had is we couldn't use Harlequin in the title.
In the name, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That was the only,
which is absolutely fine. And I do have to give the shout out in case anyone doesn't know. My husband actually came up with the podcast name.
He did.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. We were saying something and he looked at me in the kitchen. He's like, the Categorically Romance Podcast. I'm like, that's why I married you.
He's brilliant.
It took 13 years to find out why.
I mean, and we joked in those first couple episodes. We were like, well, we know our moms are going to listen.
That's right. Yeah.
We know Garrett will listen he's going to be nice and listen. And Sincere listens because he was editing.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your irritation about them? For me, it's a dumb. Okay. Princess Pregnant Girl.
Are you serious, Steve? That tells you so much right now. We know there's a secret baby with the gardener.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
I'll read it.
Yes.
It's tough because the title needs to tell you the story, right? That's the big hang up with it.
I think the only irritation for me is that you will fall in love with a line and then it goes away.
It's just like what? Don't say that you enjoy a TV show.
Yeah. Then it's gone.
Oh, Anna's here. Anna, can you write that book, please, Anna? And dedicate it to Steve?
Princess Pregnant Gardener.
That sounds more like a presents. So
It
I would
does.
love to read. I would love to read an Anna J. Stewart presents.
The heartwarming editor sitting back like, no,
right? Yeah.
No.
Dana's shaking her.
It's all about the tropes.
Dana's like, hell no.
Oh gosh, if I had a complaint, stop changing the covers. Like let's get you know, I get the show want to be uniform, but could you stop changing the covers? Yeah.
Oh, right, and Anna's on it. Oh,
I wonder if it could be a romantic suspense, like the Princess Pregnant Gardener, like question mark.
Yeah. Oh, and there could be like a whole after the heir, protecting the baby and the pregnant mom. Oh yeah, this is
I'm
great.
just mad that it's a gardener. It's like the Garden of Eve. The Garden of Eve. Steve, we want you to write it. You write it, please.
Yes, that's your NaNoWriMo project.
That's your NaNoWriMo.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Sarah, about the covers, because like this is my presents section, and they all look different. You know,
I know they don't look uniform on my shelves in it. I mean, I see, because the more that you collect, like I have, you start to slowly see the lines change.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess to be completely honest, like I love this. Like, don't get me wrong, but the older covers are a little bit cheesy, but that's the fun of them, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I've got to show you this one. It's an illustrated intrigue, and it's Crystal's bodyguard.
Wow.
Does this guy look like Paul Rudd, or is that just me?
No, I can see it. And he hasn't aged.
Yeah. No, I look. It was published in 1996, and I looked on IMDb. He wasn't doing much acting at that time, so it's very possible that he did some modeling work.
I'm just laughing because I'm like, Molly Rice sounds like such an author name. Such a romance author.
Yeah.
No, they're different. Presents and Desire are different.
Yeah. Desire's North American
correct
wealth, essentially.
Yeah.
Right?
Soap
and
opera.
Presents is a bit more fantasy. Sometimes made up countries, stuff like that. NaNoWriMo 22.
Yeah.
Please. So silly.
Oh, Steve.
All right, let's see if we can get back to this interview here. But beautiful tangents, though. I love it. Okay, so the Categorically Romance Podcast is sneaking up on its 100th episode.
I know.
How does that make you guys feel? And if you can tell us, is there anything special that you have planned?
I don't think we realized it, Bree.
I don't either. We got so we did a thing. We got very lucky. We were like, we love the holiday time. So in the summer, we were like, okay, what are we going to do for the holidays? Okay, let's just put a call out and see if anybody has a holiday book and they're willing to come. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing we know, we have all these opportunities to talk, and we're like, it's not comfortable for us to like do an interview and then somebody has to wait 6 months for their episode
because of how much the turnover for these books are.
That's
absolutely
thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we doubled up during the fall. I mean, it was a crazy busy time, and
I'm surprised we survived.
Yeah. I mean, we had like 3 interviews some days on like a Sunday. So I don't think we really realized it, and it just. I think going forward, it's just, we're just really looking forward to what's coming out next. And that's really it. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll have to see which ones are going to be our 100th.
Oh, I know.
Because we know our 50th, we were literally recording. Who were we recording
Melinda Curtis.
And we're like, oh, this is our 50th. And we said to her, do you mind if we talk about it when we start? She's like, that's fine.
I mean, if you're going to celebrate your 50th, it might as well be.
That's a heck of an author to have.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And pre-congratulations, you guys. And I hope here's to 100 more plus.
Yeah. Right. We hope
so. Well, I mean, because it is very interview heavy, which we love that because we get to talk about the books. We get to hear everybody's writing style and quirks and their origin stories. But then we also, we love our Wednesday episodes.
We love our chatty Wednesday
episodes. Yeah. So we try to do both.
Yeah.
But I think originally we didn't even imagine, at least I know I had no clue we would ever get to interview this many people ever.
Yeah.
I assumed that this was going to be very much like at the beginning when we first started talking. In my head, I had the Heaving Bosoms podcast where every week they would read a book and then discuss it and then occasionally have an author interview. Right. And I'm like, this, again, not complaining, but because for me, it's been a thrill. I've been reading these books for 2 decades.
Yeah.
I've been reading these authors for 2 decades, and this is a dream for me. It's amazing.
Yeah. And you've seen it, like the authors have your back. When we
absolutely,
I can't remember how we connected with Anna, but she's like, "You need me to send a message? I got you."
Yeah.
We're like,
we're getting circled.
Yeah. It's absolutely what I've noticed in my interactions with the category romance authorship. Everything they're just all amazing people and just wonderful.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I think we had Reese Ryan and then we had Tara Taylor Quinn, which Sarah connected with. And she, after our interview with her, she was like, I think she wanted to see, okay, how's this going to go?
Absolutely.
And she was like, whatever you need, let me know. Yep. And we're like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. All right, let's see. Where are we at here now? Oh, okay. So if time and death were not a thing, who would be your dream interview on your podcast?
That's tough. Oh gosh, pull it. Oh, Sarah, I know where you're going with this. Heather Graham.
I want to talk to her so badly. I've been reading her books for so long, and she has written so much across the genres, not just category. And she still occasionally will write category. She's put out the occasional intrigue every now and then. But I mean, the Crew of Hunter series is one of my absolute favorites. So, I would love the chance to talk to her, but, it is what it is.
Because believe it or not, we do either get told no or we just don't hear anything back.
So, there's been 2 or 3?
Yeah, we've had a couple.
Effort has been made.
Yeah.
Effort has been made. Yeah.
If we could just get Sarah Morgan. I don't know, because we have reached out to some like author Cindy Dees that used to write for Bombshell.
Yeah.
And she's, was on board, and then it's like, we don't want to bug you too much, but can you go ahead and pick a date? But like, for me, I think with Sarah, like just those old school voices that you want to have that opportunity before, God forbid something happens and they're, like, oh my gosh, Sarah, what's our girl's name? She doesn't write anymore. Used to write.
That narrows it down.
I'm so sorry. I'm blank. I mean, I'm thinking of her book. It's called Years. That's the one I have. Morning Glory, I think, is one of them.
Laverne Spencer?
Spencer. God, I'd love us to get Laverne Spencer. Like those old school.
Well, yeah, no. If you want to talk dream, Debbie Maycomer.
Yes.
Nora Roberts.
Yeah.
I'd love to pick her brain about her days writing Category. She probably doesn't remember because it was a gazillion years ago.
A gazillion books ago, too.
Yeah. I mean, and because like when, I know Anna's here, but like Anna shared with us, like her first was a Nora Roberts, and it's like to get the opportunity to talk to the first that inspired the people that we admire.
That's right.
Like,
yeah.
If you could get that chance, man. Yeah. The old school, the OGs. If I could talk to Debbie Maycomer, I'd cry. And she sends me books all the time. And I just want to be like, can you please, 5 minutes. You can pray. You can do a recipe. We don't care. Just come on the podcast.
Can you just pre-record a couple sentences and we can All right. So far in your podcasting adventures, what is one of the best memories you've had so far doing the show?
That's so tough.
I mean, I've loved talking to everybody. I don't want to play favorites. I really don't want to play favorites with anyone, right? Because they've all been fantastic. But to be fair, and I think a lot of the authors that we talked to would probably agree, but talking to Jill Shalvis was freaking amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, she's OG,
Yeah. And because that was our second time talking to her. We talked to her on YouTube before. Yeah. And I think she knows that, like, our heart's in it. We're true diehard fans of hers. When you get off of interview and an author says, don't reach out to my publicist. If you want me back on, send me an email. Yeah. We're like, yes, ma'am, Jill Shalvis.
Yeah.
I will run your bathwater. Okay.
But also the ability to talk to the editors has been amazing.
Yeah. They've been some of my favorite episodes. Definitely is hearing from the editors. Absolutely.
Because it's just so weird to us, like, romance is your day job. So do you read for fun? I think every time we talk to somebody, like, something sticks out to us, like when we did that Christmas episode, it was a no-brainer. Like, Anna's episode, I re-listen to all the time. There was just something about her original episode that we were like, we have to have Anna, because we know Christmas is hard for some people. Who do you want to be on? Somebody that is just gonna blow it out the water. I really loved our Wendy Warren episode. She's just like, I want her to send me like a daily affirmation every day. I think we laughed super hard when we had Reese Ryan on, which she's one of our OG episodes. But I mean, we can sit and talk to Pippa all day. Melinda Curtis.
I want to go on holiday with Pippa Roscoe. Yes. Like, that's like my dream right there.
Amy Andrews, like her that Australian sense of humor.
Oh God, she was brilliant.
Oh my gosh, what's our other girl from Heartwarming? She's like such a just romantic. Like, there's just something about everybody that just it's hard to pick just one. And then, to be fair to us, I do love just you and I sitting down and just laughing at ourselves. Sorry, Aaron. Long answer.
No, that's fun. That's exactly what we're here for.
Okay.
All right. So, Sarah, you are the Bookish Knitter. That is the name of your channel. Do you have any knitting that you'd like to share with us right now? Anything you've been working on lately?
Yes.
I just love that you still have your big tree up. I put my big tree up, but the little ones are out.
And if I'm sick, I want things that make me happy. So,
there you go.
In my sloth bag, I've actually been doing more cross stitch lately than knitting, but that's okay. I'm still working on my Rainy and I started these on December 1st. I hope to have them done by this Christmas 2022. So That's the top. This I'm working on a sock. It's not very interesting. It's just a
You can do it, Sarah.
Yeah. I'll get there eventually.
Excellent. So my mother knits a little bit. She just makes dish rags.
Okay.
But, it's I'm not sure, if I'm sure there's not just one way to knit. I'm sure there's different several, things you do for different kinds of things.
But this is a recent.
Oh, very nice.
Finish. It's
that looks cozy.
My hair's up, but I got a hat.
I love it.
With a pom-pom.
I'm jealous because it's never cold enough here for me.
I know. I said to Bree that I would knit her something and send it to her, but I'm like, what can I possibly make in a tank top?
A headband, Sarah. I love socks. Some knitted socks.
Yeah, I know. I should. Yeah, I have to really like you to knit you a pair of socks.
Just one sock is fine, okay?
Just one.
It's hot in Texas, so you don't need both, right?
Yeah. I'm sweating now because I thought it was cool. No.
You want to know what temperature it is right now outside? Minus 17 degrees Celsius.
Oh my gosh. I'm so jealous. I'm not even I'm gonna look. Oh.
Come on up. You can and the snow, you can take that too.
Yeah, I don't think it's that cold here. I think it's above freezing here. At least. So, Bree, you are also a co-host on the Hallmarkies podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and how does that differ from the Categorically Romance podcast?
Yeah, I love Hallmark movies. I do have a lot of gripes with them sometimes, like I currently do. But they wanted to an excuse to talk about motivation to read more books. And it was like, hey, do you mind reading something every month with me? And I was like, sure. So that's really kind of how it started. And I was like, hey, I also really love the movies, so can I occasionally talk about the movies? But I don't know, talking about movies and books is a little different.
Yeah.
I'm coming at it from in the novel you do this, and they're just they're like, the acting is great, and oh my gosh, did you see how the camera spin? And I'm like, yeah, but then that conflict.
Right.
It's really different, but it's fun. I like that community of people that also really love seeing romance on film. So
absolutely.
Any for both of you, any standout holiday movies that are in that? They don't have to be a Hallmark holiday movie, but just in that vein, I guess.
This year was really hard. Sarah and I talked about this a lot. I feel like every year the countdown to Christmas starts earlier and earlier, and we love Christmas, but come December, I'm a little burnt out, and then Christmas Day comes, and I really struggle. Mentally, I am in a really bad place on Christmas. Are a thing. Yeah. The day of and the day after, were really hard for me. And I told Sarah, I was like, I think I'm gonna try to not start so early next year because I would rather wait till November and go through December than start in 1st of October. It's just it's too early.
I want to enjoy Halloween and stuff like that first.
Yeah.
But classics. I love The Holiday. That's such a good movie. For Hallmark this year, they had a really fun one called The Santa Stakeout with Tamara Mowry and Paul Campbell. And it was a mystery, a mystery comedy. And it was perfect. It was one of the first ones they had out this year. So I was really happy with, what I did watch. But they have some duds too. So
yeah. Had a lot of duds this year, definitely.
Well, true confession, I'm not a movie watcher.
Oh, it's fair enough. I used to be a big movie watcher all the time. And then just one day I'm just you know what? Yeah. I don't care anymore.
I rewatched my favorite at Christmas this year, which is The Muppets Christmas Carol.
I was going to say, Sarah, I love The Muppets.
It's my favorite. Yeah. It's actually one of the closest ones to the book, surprisingly. The lines and stuff. Yeah. But I watched that and then that's it. I'm 2 hours to sit for 2 hours. I don't have 2 hours.
Guys, I felt like the worst Christmas fan ever. I was sitting here binging Ghost Adventures.
Yes,
there's nothing Christmas about this EVP session, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Christmas fatigue was definitely a thing over here as well. We took our decorations down Christmas Day. Like it was like past like 2:30. We're like, okay, we're good now. We can start taking them down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's see. Harissa says, "Oh yeah, not a movie watcher either. For the same reason." Yeah.
Yeah, there's classics. Like people say to me, "Well, yeah, you've seen Star Wars." No, I've never seen Star Wars.
I bet people get angry at you for that.
My wedding band is Star Wars related, and I've never seen Star Wars. Okay,
Aaron loves it. I know.
It's like, is it personal at this point? It's like,
my husband has like a Wookiee onesie or something like that. Like he's like Star Wars king, not me. I remember years ago there used to be a TV show on for weddings. It was on TLC where they get these 4 people and they'd each go to each other's weddings. So Garrett happened to be in the room and we were watching it, and there was like this one wedding. They had lightsabers. So when the husband and wife came into the hall, they were holding these lightsabers out, and he just turned and looked at me, and I went, "No." Yeah, see, people get legitimately mad about it. I've seen Spaceballs like 1,000 times. I know the plot of Star Wars.
I think that can be officially. I think it gets an honorary Star Wars movie at this point. So the Star Trek franchise considers Galaxy Quest an official Star Trek movie, even though it has nothing to do with it, but. Apparently it was liked enough. Got an
I've offended people now. Sorry.
Oh no, chat's blown up. All right, so let's switch gears. And so we're lightly in a writing group. I know I've kind of fallen to the wayside lately in organizing us, but how are things going just in plotting and planning and all of that these days?
Plotting and planning.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
You know what? I have a story that I am in love with. It's just I'm writing it in pieces. There's some of it like I'll be out and about. I'll write something, let me write this in this note because I keep notebooks on me now, you guys. I keep them on me. And then some mornings I'm like, okay, get up. You're going to write something. Oh, I delete an entire page. It's just sitting down and putting it together. But yeah, I have 2 stories that I'm like, really, really in love with. I just have to make them happen.
Well, it was funny. I got thinking about it because it ebbs and flows, and I mean the holidays, and then I wasn't feeling well, and blah 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 blah. But we were talking to Amanda this weekend. I don't even know what day it is at this point anymore. And she made a comment that like she does this Zoom writing group at like 5 or 6 in the morning. I'm like, and I meant to message you, Bree, and be like, we should totally do that.
We should.
Do a Zoom at like, 5 or 6 in the morning for a half an hour. I think that'd be great. Yeah. Because that's what I need is the motivation.
Yeah.
I have the story. I need the motivation.
I could do that at 5 my time. I couldn't do that at 5 your time.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. Well, hold on. 5 your time would be what? 8 my time?
Yeah. So that'd be a piece of cake.
Totally doable.
Yeah.
Totally doable.
It's totally doable. 7 mine.
We could do that.
I'm awake.
Steve, did you want to join us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 a.m. Pacific.
Thank you for being here.
Bye, Harissa.
Thank you.
It's hard. It's hard.
It is.
It's hard.
It's finding the time when you've got life also happening.
Yeah.
It's interesting because, writing romance is different than, a regular fiction story. You've got to tie the emotional development directly to the plot development and everything. And that's something that kind of bothers me when romance gets crapped on of like, so I've heard people flippantly say like, oh yeah, I could write a romance book,
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, sure you could.
A good one? A good one?
Yeah, anyone can write a romance. I've seen some of those stories floating around online. Those are romance.
Yeah.
Or they ain't good. Please write this.
Please, Steve.
Yes.
Can you imagine the cover?
I'm picturing like she's like very pregnant holding like a pot of like a flower.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm picturing like coveralls, because Gardner.
Oh, yes,
yeah,
of course.
yeah.
Yes, of course. Yeah. And he's in like an Armani suit.
Yeah.
Like dust. Like you got dust on me.
Is this a Cinderella retelling?
Clearly.
Oh.
Steve, we're practically writing it for you.
We are. That's what we do. That's what we do.
All right, you guys. So what are you reading lately or right now?
So I had the bright idea. I pulled a Taryn Lee Taylor, Blaze, and Dare off the shelf because I was like, I want to read these back to back because I read a Dare novel recently and I was messaging Sarah and I was like, I don't know. It was the very first Dare. And I was like, the first like half of it felt very presents to me for some reason. And then, the story, and I'm like, okay, it's definitely a Dare. But I find it fascinating that a lot of the Dare authors did write for Blaze. So I pulled those. I can't even remember the title, but I pulled 2 of her books off the shelf. So that's up next for me.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, I am reading an older intrigue by Jana De Leon, which I know is a favorite of both Bree and I.
Yeah.
It's definitely a more gothic. It's called The Lost Girls of Johnson's Bayou. It takes place, of course, in Louisiana, and it's about this school for girls that something happened, and all these girls perished except for one girl, and then some girl mysteriously comes out of the bayou, and now she's an adult, and it's a thing. Yeah. So it's really good so far. I'm really liking it.
She's a dream too. I think I've messaged her on her website, but I don't think she's active anymore. So
no,
it happens. Her Evelyn Vaughn. I mean, so many.
Oh, and who were we talking about the other day? Amanda with Lynn Graham.
Oh, Lynn Graham. Sitting in her Irish castle,
with her flock of sheep. I'm just picturing a flock of sheep out the window.
Writing presents novels.
Right?
How many has she written? There's always so many at the thrift stores. I've never picked one up because it's just like
she's under contract to write one a month. I'm pretty sure that's what
it is. All right. Well, to round us out, why don't you go ahead and do us the honor of shouting out some authors or creators that you've been vibing on lately?
I think I have to shout out our girl Sarah Loves Mills and Boone.
Yes.
Love her. All the way. She's in Australia, and when we had the opportunity to talk with her, we were like, are there any other of you over there? And she's like, no, it's just me.
Yep.
But I mean, we see what's coming out thanks to her. Like she really puts in the work for category on her side of the world.
For sure. Nice. Yeah, from Mills and Boone, for sure.
Okay.
What about the girl that's got the readathon coming up?
Ooh, Storm Reed. So just before I came on here, a girl that I follow, I don't know if you know who she is, Erin.
Yes,
Storm Reed.
Yes, I follow her as well. Yeah.
She is doing a retro romance readathon in February. I'm like,
we're all over it.
Okay, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. So shout out to her.
Definitely. I might have to go find some old 60s Harlequins.
Right. I'm thinking I might try and do one per decade.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited now.
Yeah, right. Who else? I know Shannon Riddler. She talks a lot of category. And Anita. She's doing her very similar to what you're doing, but she's doing a different line every month. So her videos have been delightful to watch.
They have, yeah. That was I wasn't on top of that when she first started doing that. So just recently I went and watched all of the backlist videos in that project she's doing. So
and it's awesome. Good for her. I think it's fun. And it's kind of a fun way to see what it is that you like. I mean, it does, like you said earlier, Bree, it takes you a couple hours to read one of these. Just try one and see if you like it or not,
Yeah. For authors, I don't know. I tap the special editions, man. This is her debut.
Yes.
Mona's she's written for HQN, but it's her special edition debut. There's so many debut authors coming out. And oh my gosh, I think Jacqueline Thomas had a new Heartwarming that came out this month.
Yes.
The second book in her series.
Correct.
So yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for Anna's got her new series. I'm ready for Katie Richards to give us more of the West Investigation series, wherever it's going. There's just so much to look forward to this year.
So many books.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So little time.
And our favorite Julianne has some more coming out this year too.
Always. Right?
We're gonna have her on the podcast, so that'll be fantastic.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear that episode. That's gonna be so fun.
I'm just excited for some Valentine's romances.
Right?
Yes. Ooh. I don't know. I'm in the mood. I know we got one from Charlie James with Thule, like the second book in her series is the Valentine's Day romances. So, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there's a special edition Valentine's one that came out. Am I making a liar out of myself? Probably.
See, I was just thinking. I don't think I've read.
For Wyoming Valentine Wish by Allison Lee.
Okay.
Ooh. Yeah. I was just thinking. I don't think I've read a Valentine's themed category. But then I remembered the first book I did in my category journey was Valentine's proposals.
Was it the Kim Finley? Was it Kim Finley?
Kim Finley.
Yeah.
Which she just sent me the third one in that series, New Year's Eve.
Oh, nice.
So,
nice.
I think of Kim often, like living on her boat.
Her boat, I know.
Her so Instagram photos are just like, oh, look at this beautiful sunset over the ocean that I'm just looking at, when I wake up and go to sleep every night.
And I still laugh that was like one of our easiest videos or podcasts to record. And yet we have people who perfect and
in a house.
Yeah. And she's on a boat and it's like fine, like
But what I love about it is like you can hear that she's clearly on the water.
Yes.
It's so there's this ambiance about it.
I know. An ASMR.
Sorry, another side tangent.
No, it's just fine.
It's what we do.
But if you guys have any other side tangents, I'm out of questions. So if anyone in the comments had any more questions.
Well, shout out to you. Thank you for having us.
Oh, well, thank you so much for being my inaugural guest on the start.
I feel like we kind of volunteered ourselves.
Yeah, I know, right? We kind of pushed our way in.
That's all right. That's all right. You're the perfect people to start with here. And it's been a blast. It's gone better than I expected. So that's wonderful.
We like to talk.
Yes, we do, clearly.
Well, I am planning to do these once a month. See if I'm, if I get good at them, maybe I'll do more of them. But I'll go ahead and bring up that Categorically Romance Podcast, episode 92 with Jennifer Snow is out right now.
Yay!
As well, on the Bookish Knitter, there's a new reading vlog that just posted recently.
Yay!
And then next month, on the second episode of Erin's Reading Room Live, it's going to be Nicole from Who Picked This Book.
Yay, Nicole!
And she is the host of many things on BookTube and YouTube.
She's the queen of the live show on YouTube.
Yes, queen of the live show. That's what I should have learned on it. No.
Yep.
Next time. All right. Well, I hope you guys come back and we'll find something fun to do next time I invite you on. So we'll see. Hopefully it won't be another year or so.
Whenever you want us. I mean, we reach out to you all the time. Hey, can you pop on and record with us real quick?
Yeah, exactly.
I know. I was so bummed the last time that I actually couldn't make it.
Yes, but Sarah was like, if you need, she's like, I'm logging in. I'm like, thank God, because Erin couldn't make it.
No, I was wondering. I listened to the episode. I was like, oh, Sarah did make it.
She made it. She's like, I'm coming on. I was like, thank God, because I've never done the introduction before, and I'm like, Sarah nails it every time. So
well, that was the comment that I had when we did that first recording with Amanda this weekend. I hadn't done it in 3 weeks. I'm like, do I remember what I'm supposed to say?
All right. Well, again, thank you so much for joining me on this first episode. I hope you had a good time, and I'll bring you guys back at some point here. We'll find something to do, and everyone that joined us in the chats and watching along, thank you so much. And I hope you subscribe to my channel and come back for more live shows and check out my category journey.
Thank you.
Thank you,
everyone.
Bye. Bye.